They sold you a dream of freedom at 65. Work diligently, remain loyal, climb the corporate ladder for 40 years, and then at last you would be liberated. You believed your life's grand finale awaited beyond the office door when the emails ceased and the weekend stretched indefinitely. But what if this vision of liberation was never more than a carefully woven illusion? What if someone else wrote the script and you never paused to ask why? For decades, the narrative was undisputed. Study, secure a job, dedicate 40 years of your existence to productivity, then retire in peaceful repose. Few questioned the authorship of that storyline, nor its true purpose. Yet when the curtain falls, the promise of freedom often dissolves into disorientation, and not for lack of money, but for loss of self. According to research from the Stanford Center on Longevity, more than 2/3 of retirees feel adrift within 18 months of retirement, bewildered not by an empty bank account, but by an empty identity. They awaken in a world where their role, once defined by deadlines, titles, and meetings, has evaporated, leaving behind a hollow stage with no direction home. Retirement, as it turns out, was never about teaching people to truly live. It was about timing their usefulness, gently phasing them out of the workforce. When German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck introduced the concept in 1889, it was a tool of economic policy disguised as benevolence, designed to remove elderly workers and make room for younger, more efficient labor. Over time, we embraced it as a gift, unaware that it functioned as an exit ramp from productivity rather than an entrance into purpose. Consider the paradox. You trained for decades to excel at conformity, at operating within a machine. You mastered calendars, optimized for performance metrics, and sacrificed present joy for distant promises. Yet when the moment arrives to savor unstructured time, you find yourself unskilled in the art of simply being. Your value, once tethered exclusively to output, abruptly loses its mooring. Alan Watts observed succinctly, "You are under no obligation to be the person you were told to be." This revelation detonates the retirement myth. If the original script was never yours, perhaps the hunt for freedom at 65 is misplaced. Freedom is not an endpoint, a pension fund confession. It is a way of living, present to every moment. It was available long before retirement, had you been taught to seize it. The deeper lie extends beyond retirement. It's the lesson that life must be deferred. From childhood, we're conditioned to postpone delight, endure school to earn a diploma, labor to earn promotions, pay off mortgages to afford vacations, and finally, one day, begin to live. Behavioral psychologists name this tendency delayed discounting, undervaluing the present in favor of imagined future rewards. The more you defer, the more the illusion of someday hardens into a permanent mirage. But life does not pause for your preparations. It unfolds amid chaos and silence, uncertainty and breath. When every day is reduced to a rehearsal for an invisible premiere, you sacrifice presence for the comfort of planning. Survival skills, budgeting, scheduling, and strategizing become your expertise, while inner stillness and genuine exploration atrophy. Then comes the abrupt stillness. Titles vanish, routine evaporates, and the stage lights dim. You ought to feel free, yet you feel lost, as if the world you built for yourself has abandoned you. Depression rates spiked by over 40% in the first year after retirement, according to the National Institute on Aging, not due to financial strain, but to an existential void. Who are you when no one needs the function you perform? A Reddit post from a man named John, recently retired at 64 after decades at Boeing, captures the sentiment. "I realized I never actually lived. I just worked. Now that the work is over, I have no idea what to do." John's confession resonates because it mirrors countless lives in which identity is used irreversibly with the profession, leaving nothing behind when the role dissolves. Yet the system persists. No one emancipates you by granting a pension. Instead, they graft you onto a new machinery of consumption. Retirement is reborn as an industry, a trillion-dollar business packaging leisure as a product. Brochures promise cruises and condos, and financial planners whisper assurance in exchange for fees. They offer external order in place of inner freedom, teaching you to trade one script for another. But the cost of this compliance is your desire for control. You exchange the stress of career deadlines for the anxiety of portfolio reviews. You swap one structured routine for another, trading independence for a feeling of safety sold at a premium. In reality, what they sell is not freedom, but the illusion of it, feeding on your fear of chaos. True freedom doesn't arrive in a neatly managed retirement account. It emerges when you see through the deception and reclaim agency over your choices. Rest and travel have meaning when they stem from intention, not indoctrination. Presence is not a reward to be earned, but a practice to be cultivated daily. To awaken, you must first confront the void left by the old self and recognize that it is fertile ground for growth. That silence, once terrifying, becomes the birthplace of questions previously buried by busyness. What stirs my passion? What beliefs resonate beyond inherited doctrine? What values ignite my spirit? When the mask of productivity slips, you glimpse the self beneath, the creator, the thinker, the soul that thrives on curiosity. That spark, ungoverned by corporate timetables, is the genesis of genuine freedom. You were never meant to be confined to a single title or a single phase. Life's canvas demands multifaceted expression. So how do you begin? Start within the same system that taught you delay. Redefine your identity not by the roles you play, but by the purposes you choose. Build a personal schedule honoring silence, reflection, and spontaneous wonder. Dedicate moments to presence. A walk without a destination. A conversation that explores depth rather than distraction. Shift your pursuit from novelty to meaning. Seek connections that transcend functions and converse with those who recognize your humanity rather than your CV. Value depth over breadth, authenticity over appearances. In these unassuming exchanges lies the nourishment your spirit craves. Alan Watts warned, to hold your breath is to lose your breath. Clutching security breeds fragility, while allowing uncertainty invites resilience. Breath by breath, choice by choice, you practice presence. You retire from the trance of endless striving, not from life itself. There is no final destination where everything clicks into place and the pain vanishes. The grand finale is a myth. Instead, life's richness unfolds in the messy, unpredictable present. If you cannot touch this reality now, you will never touch it later, for later is just another word for never. Real freedom is a capacity, not a condition. It lies in meeting each moment as it comes, not as you planned or as you were told it should be. It is the power to stop deferring joy and to start inhabiting your own story, even while climbing the corporate ladder. You don't have to wait until 65. You can reclaim freedom today by challenging assumptions, embracing uncertainty, and choosing presence over productivity. Ask yourself, what if I stopped believing that freedom is earned? What if I realized I was free the moment I stopped waiting? The greatest retirement of all is the one from your own delaying mind, the step away from the scripted life toward the uncharted possibilities of now. The lie was never just about retirement, it was that you needed to earn your existence. The truth is, you are alive now. When you stopped postponing living, you became free. What do you think? Is there a way to escape the system that forces you to actually live your life fully? Let us know in the comments section down below, and together we will explore the philosophies that don't just explain the world, but help you understand them. So make sure to subscribe for more content like this.